The Late Night L.O.A.D.
Welcome to the Late Night L.O.A.D. Late Night L.O.A.D.
Hey everybody, you know what it is. It's me and the Leprechaun on the Late Night L.O.A.D. And tonight we're going to talk about what this guy's talking about, astrology. Let's make sure we don't mess his name up. Astrology Games 111. He is going to put this video together for us to watch. It's about blue avians specifically, but I was trying to look up for more stuff for avian people, species, and all that. I had a really hard time finding stuff. So this is something that I found that fits into everything that we're going into.
Let's talk about the blue avians. Now, these beings are from the 5th through the 9th dimension. The 9th dimension is the highest dimension, which is love. That's why love can rule everything, good or bad. And so they came here to help. These are the ones that also help build the pyramids. Now, if you look at the length of them, they're pretty tall. They also came down with the Palladians, even though the Palladians are near us in the Taurus constellation, right? But they held the Palladians here to bring peace and love, and they're also the ones that's trying to stop the reptilians, along with the Anu, what we known as the good version of the Anunnaki, and other star seeds. Now, you might have seen these figures in movies like Avatar and things like that, but this is what they have to do, because they have to show people these different beings that you see in movies and video games, because eventually...
All right. So what he's talking about right away, like he just unpacked. This guy's unpacking everything really fast, and he's moving through it fast. So he's like, he went through their description real fast. But yeah, they're usually a feathery, long, sinuate-looking like species, and they're usually taller than us by about 2 feet. So if you imagine 7 to 8 foot people, and then
it seems to be a normal case. I mean, outside of the small grays, I mean, most of them seem to have, a 7 foot or higher kind of height range.
And I think that also has to do with the planet they come from and the planet's gravity well and how strong the well is of gravity on their planets. Because I figure that's like a whole nother science to dip off into, but that's where I figure where the different sizes and stuff come from. And like, Earth has, we call it Earth gravity 1. Well, we might go to the avian planet and realize that our gravity is 2 times their gravity, but their planet could be like way bigger than ours. It could be.
Well, I mean, they also, I mean, they talk about, the oxygen level in the air on our planet, thousands of years ago was a lot higher, and that made it a lot easier for bigger plant species and animal species.
Yeah, because I mean, I know now that our current oxygen or our current atmosphere is mainly nitrogen. Like we got a very small percent of oxygen, so pretty interesting. And along with that, before we keep moving forward, let's go ahead and jump into some QR codes. If you want to hit this QR code, and it'll give you the link to come on over to Websy Official at YouTube, and you can sub and comment now on our live to let us know you're out there watching. So come and hang out, do some cool stuff with us. And now from our sponsors, we have a really cool RC drone link here. Head on over to our sponsors to get a cool RC drone for $200, $199.99. And then here's the promo for that as well. So head on over to Clarksville Hobby Depot LLC and check out that really cool drone that's on sale. Otherwise, if you want to hit this QR code up in the corner, that's where you can see Leprechaun playing some of his cool ass video games and stuff. So head on over there to that QR code, check out Leprechaun and everything he's doing there. And hit pause again. This QR code now that's up will send you over to the WebC official Patreon where you can support us and become a sponsor like Clarksville Hobby Depot. All right. So that's the end of our little stop and shop, and let's head back into the video.
Beings will show themselves to you, whether it's this life or the next. But they're coming back this life. And they actually are back, and they're at war with the reptilians and the draconians. You know, the ones that we all know as the people in power or the elite. Now, if you notice an Egyptian, Iranian, all types of hieroglyphics, it's always a person with wings and a blue head. This is proof that the blue avians came and helped and taught technology. They taught things like horoscopes. They helped exalt Horus, you know? So this is why the word horoscope comes from Horus, which is the god, and they exalted him and made.
All right, so he's saying that the blue avians are the same as the Anunnaki. He's saying
Well,
they're interchangeable.
I thought I kind of took it as like they were of the gooder kinds, like the Anunnakis.
Yeah, but like that's what he's
Some of
saying because like this picture, that's actually a picture of an Anunnaki, but he's saying this
yeah,
is the
with the wings.
avians where they've got blue skin, wings, and they're tall. That's that fits all the numbers, right? So, anyways, back to it, right?
him an actual deity that would last through things like astrology. Now you also have blue spirit beings, which were depicted in like the movie Avatar that come from the ninth dimension, but they also live in the hollow earth that we have. Yes, we have a hollow earth because if you watch the TV show Avatar, there was a portal that took them into Earth. The TV show, not the movie. And like I said, these beings came here and they're coming here to restore peace, to bring love, to spread nothing but light. These are positive beings. These are ninth dimensional high beings. They don't like negativity. They only like love and light. So no matter what you're into, as long as you show them respect and love, they will do the same thing to you. They might come to you in your dreams, things like that. But these pictures and everything that I'm showing you is proof that they came here, and this is kind of putting some light on what the hieroglyphics mean. Now you might see hieroglyphics also of Lyrian star seeds, which is cat-headed beings, you know. They have dog-headed beings. It's a bunch of different star seeds that I'm gonna start putting on here to get y'all hip. But as long as you get hit before the government puts it in a UFO document and try to, make it some demonized type shit. You feel me? So stay tuned for more. And this can give you a little description of the galaxies. Boom.
All right.
I was looking for a way to make some extra money.
So I mean, that was pretty much it for what I had found on that specific species. I don't have anything. I don't have anything new for anything other. But we can talk a little bit about the weird coincidence that as he's talking about it, he brings up a picture of the Anunnaki and basically straight compares them as similar profiles in history. Not necessarily saying they are the same, but he made a very good general comparison. Like, hey, in history, this species existed on Earth, and we can see. And then, like you were just saying, the oxygens were different, and all the atmospheric levels being different. That could also explain why we could see, different species being able to thrive here on Earth for short periods of time before changes.
I mean, one of the things that really stuck out to me is we just him like kind of keying in on how they're very very positivity driven, and love is really their kind of strength of emotion and stuff, which it's I think we've definitely noticed that throughout covering these different species, they're kind of key differences. I mean, the tall grays seem very intellectual and science driven, very minimal emotions. The Who did we do last week? The
Nordics.
Nordics, you know what I mean? You know, being very family oriented, it seemed, and and now this one being very, kind of love and almost the hippies of the alien species that and
Yeah, just the sharing kind. Like they came and they were like, "Here, everybody, have some fun."
I also I think it's interesting and important to kind of touch base on the fact that he said that they are here and they're fighting with the elites or the draconians or
Yeah, and the
the people.
reptilians. Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, that's something that's interesting, and it's just it just interests me that they would go that route with saying that that's the war that's happening. Like no, I've seen videos that show who those specific bad guys are. I've seen a bunch of videos that show people slipping up and letting their true selves pop out a little bit here and there, their eyeballs flickering and getting slits or whatever. And I've seen all these videos, and it's always made me go, "Whoa! Did you see that?" You know, I've never really been like, that's, I never delved into it like as it's a conspiracy in that sense. I've always been more like, we should probably, ask that person
Pay
some
attention.
questions. Why'd you do that?
Well,
How do you do that? Like, there was a report I just read from the World Health Forums that Earth has taken its first steps towards becoming the gray aliens that time travel. We
what
have,
do you
we
mean?
have hit the first genetic marker that says we will do what they do, or we will become them. So you don't believe. I don't know how everybody feels about manifest destiny out there, but that's what this crazy whack job over at the World Health Forum said. She like got up in front of all her colleagues and said this shit too. So she was dead serious. So I don't know. That's one of those things that just makes you go, Mm. It also brings you back to a couple years back when that one chick got up in front of NATO and started talking about the aliens and stuff on camera. They were all like, "Oh, this is a live broadcast meeting.
Yeah.
You can't talk about that. We're not going to talk about that at this meeting. We're gonna." And then it was like, "Shut up, everybody!" It was like, "Oh no, like did she say too much? I hope it didn't get caught." Oh yeah, it got caught because like I remember seeing that video on this conspiracy channels for like 3 months for sure. People constantly getting their videos taken down and stuff, but people were putting it up for 3 months hard, like over like
Well, I want to kind of play with the idea. Let's toy with the idea of this war that's happening with the draconians. I mean, I feel like we're getting there's a lot more talk and a lot more almost mainstream attention that's being given to UFOs,
right.
which means it's getting to the point of them kind of not being able to hide it. Or if the reptilians are the elites, are they trying to set it up to make the ones that are trying to be our saviors be the public's eyes of the bad guys,
Yeah,
and you know what I mean, and play that role.
it could be that sense, but it's also if we look at the different if we look at the different key players of power and who we do know and don't know and what side these people are on, when we look at things and then we look at like, oh, okay, well, positioning right now, America's not looking too good on the positioning. They're looking draconian. Okay. Europe looks draconian. If we look at parts of Africa are definitely draconian. Then we get to Asia and India, and they don't look draconian. They don't have operations and moves in those parts of the world that are draconian. And then we get to Russia, and Russia's like a weird mix. You want to say they're draconian, but yet they're they're
It
they're
doesn't fit.
they're like the good draconians, or they're like the draconians that just don't want to be in line with these other draconians who are like, oh, we want to destroy all this so that the world is more comfortable for our species, because that's one of the things that with laced within the conspiracies right now is that's what their ultimate goal is right now, is to make the world more habitable for them and more appealing for them, so they can become the apex species over humanity.
Which if that's the case, what I wonder, and kind of like, what pops in my head is, well, what happened? Where did they go, and when are they coming back? When it comes to the Anunnaki, because the Anunnaki supposedly came here and told the reptilians, this is what's going on with this planet. You need to go hide underground. You will not show, the human race your face or your existence, and you will go into hiding.
Well,
And then that's when this, in theories, conspiracy theories, whatever you want to call it, they, start talking about the reptilians then learning how to kind of play with our DNA so that they can shapeshift into us,
mhm,
so they can come in here and walk
mhm,
among us without showing their face,
right.
without breaking the rules. But, I mean, are the Anaki still keeping tabs? Are they going to come back and be like, hey, you're kind of breaking the rules we set for you? Or are they just going to
Right.
let it play out at this point?
So
If any of that holds truth, how is that going to play out in the future?
yeah, I have one answer to one of those questions. You asked about the lizard people and stuff. One of the things that helps me find some truth in that is that these same governments that are in charge of it, they're in control of these bases that they call DUMBs, deep underground military bases. They're the same ones where recently photos have been coming out. Truckers have been stopping and taking pictures because they're bringing more and more supplies into these dumps, and there's more and more people living and working in these dumps. Now, my thought is, you just said when the planet Nibiru or the Anunnaki come back, that they were supposed to go into hiding. Well, doesn't that sound like that?
Yeah.
An increase of activity within the DUMS research facilities. I mean, that right there flags me as, oh, hey, there goes your question, there goes your answer. Right there is like, yeah, there actually has been more reports coming out on TikTok, on YouTube, and on Instagram of these these deep underground military bases becoming much more active in the past 3 months here. So activity is crazy, and who more suitable than the reptilians to want to go underground first?
Oh yeah, that's where they've been
Right,
lying for thousands of years.
exactly. And some of
So
these, like,
no, tens of thousands of years, depending on what you believe.
and what's
Our history
crazy
is of this planet.
is some of these, like, these structures, like the way they cut them and stuff, looks like the inside of cathedral churches. Looks like you're inside of like that big Notre Dame cathedral in Europe
Hmm.
or whatever. It looks like the same arcs and heights and depths and everything. So it's like almost as if you get the same acoustics while being in there that you would get from being inside of the cathedral up above her. It's crazy. There's like so many things my brain is just like firing off. Did you see that? Did you notice that? Did you see that? Like there really is, like, and on these videos, like these people are just saying, look at this. This is real. It's real. But my brain's going, pause that picture. What else is all in there? What are we all looking? My brain's always like, what is it that we're really looking at? You're not just showing us one thing. You're showing us something super spectacular. So with those dumbs and stuff, that's what I think that answer to that question is if it is coming back. The other answer to that question is there have been a few people who sit there and say that that planet is hiding behind the sun at the moment. Like that planet is moving
The
inwards, and so like the
the
sun is here, and then right behind the sun is where this planet is sitting. Is like right here, and it's going to come forward like this. So I've got no yes or no on that. I'm not really an astrologist. I can't say that these people are getting weird camera flares or something, because that's what I think is really going on. Is it's like a weird camera flare? Because whenever I try to look at it and find it with my camera systems, I always get a weird camera flare. It's not a second planet. it's definitely a weird camera flare. Now there's a new one out. Somebody said you got to take two pairs of sunglasses, stack them over each other, and then put the camera behind the photos and then take a photo of that. So I'm going to try that with a couple different cameras too and see what the outcome of that's going to look like as well. I'm not 100% on it. But that could answer part of that question is they're going underground because there's people reporting that they're seeing it a lot more.
That work, Nokia working their way back.
No,
Just
it's a very interesting. I think it's very interesting, and just the stories that date all the way back to. I mean, we're talking about this specific stories we're finding is before two resets. Like it's been around for like 25,000 to 30,000 years is where this story sets up at. So that's two resets. That's we've counted those two resets, ice age, and now we're here. And that planet coming back around again, hey, that could be another reset, you know. However, I don't think it's like a big resetting type of thing. I think it's like one of the small resetting things that happens. And so if we look at where we are today and when we're talking about when we're talking about like why is humanity always gathering materials like gold and just piling it up and saying, oh, look what we have. You know, we're literally doing nothing with the gold but piling it up. Well, what are we piling it up for? Okay, so in the stories, that's programmed into us. That's what it said. Is in the stories is we are programmed to seek out rich materials like gold and platinums and ores and stuff like that, and pull them out of this planet and pile them up in their neat little piles. However, we can do it. That's really weird. That's like the biggest weird thing about humanity, and it's across the earth. Everybody,
well, and across history.
Oh yeah, even the indigenous peoples do it all across the world.
Not to sidetracking just a little bit, just kind of came to my mind out of nowhere. Have you seen the video about the body they found in Africa that had an artificial heart in it, and they're saying that the artificial heart was 50,000 years old?
Whoa. No, I haven't seen that one yet, but that would have just said like that's a time traveler moment right there. That's what I'm thinking that is. That's got to be a time traveler
they
moment.
dug up an old body, yeah, and it they got kind of freaked out when they found this little metal artificial heart that was in there with tiny little pieces that moved, and they dated it back to 50,000 years, and that's when then obviously the video went into talking about the fact that we've been around a lot longer than we've been led on to believe, and that tens of thousands of years ago we had technology on this planet that was much more advanced than what we have right now.
Oh yeah, I believe we did. I am 100% a believer that 2 resets ago we had some pretty incredible technology. I'm just a big believer of it. There's some things around our world that kind of don't make sense. Somebody just pointed out recently to me that all these weird cannons, there's all these big cannons. They're like, it would take like 8 dudes to lift one cannonball into this cannon to fire this cannonball. And that's just like, for me, I was like, whoa, who was using this cannon to fight with? Like what the.
Who are they fighting with this cannon?
Yeah, and then what do they need to shoot this thing at to need something that big? Like my brain is just like, whoa. So yeah, definitely somebody pointed that out.
Next time I stumble across that video, I'll send it to you.
Yeah, so
no, it was interesting.
That falls into that same why. Why does it need to be that way? And yeah, so we'll look at that the next time you stumble across it. Other than that, no, I've just been slowly, meticulously searching for different data points on these avian species, and it's been so slow because there's a lot of research papers that have come out on birds and stuff migrating and invading other territories of other birds and stuff. So it's cluttered. Like when you search avian extraterrestrials, they half of the reports are talking about birds that have flown in from one part of a country into another part of a country and have taken over the feeding grounds of another bird group. It's super, like, yeah. So you got to sit and weed out. You get one extraterrestrial thing for every 400 like pages of like, oh, this is just government research on birds. Like, thanks, government. You're doing a great job of covering up what I'm trying to look for. So
Which I think that's kind of an insert. Just the idea of like that video that we watched earlier. I mean, and and like previous ones we've watched. I mean, just what are mainstream media like images of aliens versus what they most likely really look like is just really mind-boggling. I don't know. I mean, could you imagine? Could you imagine just you open your door and there's this 8 foot humanoid feathered person with a tiny beak just looking at you like, hey, I came to spread love to you. Like, like not fear, love. Because I'm gonna tell you right now, even being a believer in the crazy and abnormal, like that shit would intimidate the crap out of me. Like, I'm pretty sure my first reaction would be to shut the door and then open it right back up right away. Like, oh, sorry, didn't mean to disrespect you. Caught me off guard.
I had to make sure you were real. Yeah.
One of the other things though that we kind of skimmed past though with that video was, him talking about them reaching out to you in your dreams.
Yeah, that's like a package to unload within itself. And that's why I said I wanted to study more about this species before I like dive into just the topics that the species has. Because I have
being very spiritual and ninth dimension, I believe is what he called them.
Yep.
Because I know me and you both believe in like the astral planes and being able to communicate with somebody there.
Oh, yeah.
You know what I mean?
Oh, yeah, I've been there.
So to kind of think about a dream state being a means of communication is not something I've really generally put a lot of thought into prior to this video.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I've done enough mushrooms to meet God. So
yep,
I'm just gonna say that I'm not gonna hide it. Like when I was younger, and I was an irresponsible young person, I did enough psychedelic mushrooms to met God, and God wasn't mad. Like I'll be clear about that. God was not mad. Like God was calm. That's all. It was calm. It was weird. It was one of those things. To recount the whole story of how I got to there, it's a crazy day. It's a whole crazy day. Like, wow, dude, you had a day like that? Oh yeah. Dude, my day was like that. It was ready for something weird to happen. But yeah, I don't know. So I can imagine that if I were to probably take, some more mushrooms and direct my thought patterns towards contact with things like the avian species and stuff, I'm pretty sure I could probably help manifest or pull them towards us so they would target us more on their efforts. Type of a thing. I don't know. I feel like that's something that could be possibly doable.
I think that meditation and spiritual enlightenment needs more attention than what we give, and I think that the mainstream doesn't give it that attention for a reason.
Yep. I was also thinking about opening up my third eye all the way and just go on a complete cleanse. Don't eat anything but water for like a month. Very very sparse, limited diet, and just do a super cleanse and just don't drink anything but water and only eat like meat and don't eat breads or any processed foods. So I'm thinking about going on the diet for a couple of reasons, but the one reason is pulling all the toxins out of your body that way could unclog your pineal gland, and they say it opens up your third eye. And so I was thinking about that, but also just I've been hearing things about this. It's a it's like they call it the lion diet or the protein diet, but it's
Yeah.
not like the Atkins diet where you can eat other shit with it. It's just like it's strict. It's like saltwater meat. Like you don't get anything else. And so I was like, I was like, that's an interesting diet. You know, you don't overeat or anything. You just, you eat your daily, whatever your daily portion of meats would be, and that's all you eat. So I was thinking about that too, seeing how that works. There's some people who I've been watching do this diet for over a couple years now, and they're saying that they're actually having wonderful health benefits and stuff for it. And they said it could also possibly cure my insomnia.
That'd be good for you.
So that would be one of my big things, like a big
Yeah.
for me to actually try it and go that route. It would be kind of interesting for me to do.
Mhm.
So yeah. On that notice, yes, I've been researching into all that type of healthy guru living or whatever anybody wants to call it. I'm a food guy for one. For two, I want to be a food guy for a lot longer. So I gotta figure it out. So, yeah, but that is with that positive note and everything, we're at the end of the show. Like it's like
Yeah.
Thursday night. It's a short show. Tomorrow we'll be back with some more stuff about different species from around the galaxy. And
Yeah. Hopefully we'll get Rocketeer on with us, and
yeah,
we'll get a good one in.
definitely. And yeah, I don't know what he was up to tonight. I didn't check back on my messages, but yeah.
That's all right.
Let's throw up our QR codes again real quick here for everybody. Um, the show, Kip Ash Gundam, head over to the community page and join the hobby model industry's finest kit bashing site that you can find. We're growing steadily and we're having a great time doing it. We have plenty of great members who are very well versed in the hobby model industry that can help you make modifications and customizations. All right. Next, on to our sponsors at Clarksville Hobby Depot LLC. It's got this cool hobby drone. $199 was $249.99 over at Clarksville Hobby Depot LLC. Save now. Hit that QR code or the link in the chats. And then, if you want to support us and you're on Twitch or Facebook or any of the other YouTube pages, head on over here to WebC Official, where you can find all our shows from the Cutting Board Post, Late Night Load, WebC Builds to Friday Night Kit Bash, where we have all our shows that are all in syndication, and we'll talk more about our TV channel eventually. We have a TV channel. A reminder, hit that QR code to go support Leprechaun on his channel. Make sure you do, because the more you support him, the more you support us, and the more we can do things together, and the more we can get this ball rolling on some really cool content. And then, speaking of support, hit that QR code up there to head over to our Patreon, and that's where you can become a sponsor and get shout outs just like Clarksville Hobby Depot LLC. All right. You guys have a great night. This has been